Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In other news today, agents with the Memphis Safe Task Force were busy yesterday making 30 arrests across the city.
Yeah, that included a pair of suspects in two separate murders. One of those murders dated all the way back to December of 2020. In addition to those suspects, officers also arrested a pair of men for child sex crimes yesterday. The victims in those cases were just 12 and 9 years old. Since the task force arrived, at the end of September, it's claiming responsibility for more than 11,000 arrests. Close to 2,500 of those have been for gun and drug charges. 334 of the suspects arrested have been under the age of 18.
An upstate man is now accused of child sex crimes. Zachary Dorn, who you see here, was taken into custody Friday. Investigators say he distributed files of child sexual abuse material. Now, a tip ultimately led to his arrest. Dorn is now charged with sexual exploitation of a minor. Now, in a separate case, another upstate man is also accused of child sex crimes. Donald Leslie, who you see here from 6 Mile, was arrested Monday. He's accused of distributing child sexual abuse material. A tip also led to his arrest. Leslie is charged with 5 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, as well as obstructing justice. In Pickens County, this man is accused of having child sexual abuse material. Aaron Chapman was arrested yesterday. The Attorney General's office says a tip led to his arrest. Chapman is charged with sexual exploitation of a minor.
A Blacksburg man already accused of kidnapping a Milwaukee teenager and holding her for nearly 4 years is now facing 55 new charges tonight.
Owen Lars Anderson was hit with 55 counts of child sexual abuse material possession in Montgomery County, and the FBI is now involved, meaning even more charges could be coming. WDBJ 7's Ben Wolf is joining us live outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Christiansburg with some new developments. Good evening, Ben.
Melissa, those 55 counts were confirmed here today out at the Montgomery County Courthouse, and the Blacksburg police chief tells me that the FBI has taken over most of the digital evidence, which means this case is far from over.
55 counts of child sexual abuse material possession. That's what Owen Lars Anderson is now facing in Montgomery County. On top of the charges already filed against him in Virginia and Wisconsin. Anderson was already accused of kidnapping a Milwaukee teenager and holding her captive for nearly 4 years. But today we're learning the scope of this case is much bigger than first reported. Officers initially responded to a domestic disturbance, connected the victim with local resources, and later discovered she was a missing person from Milwaukee. When they re-interviewed her, she warned them Anderson was armed and could retaliate.
This suspect not only committed significant crimes against the victim, but that he was also prepared for violence.
Because of that warning, Blacksburg police deployed a tactical team to execute the search warrant at Anderson's home. He was taken into custody without incident, but was found armed with 2 loaded handguns, 14 spare magazines, multiple knives, and OC spray. Inside that home, investigators uncovered a massive amount of digital evidence, leading to today's 55 CSAM counts.
Through the use of the search warrant, we also obtained a lot of digital evidence, and we have since discovered evidence of child sexual assault material.
And now the FBI is involved, taking over much of that digital evidence because of its sheer scope and size.
Blacksburg Police has a dedicated Internet Crimes Against Children investigator working alongside the FBI, continuing to unpack all of the digital evidence. The police chief made clear that this case is far from being closed. Reporting live in Montgomery County, Ben Wolf, WDBJ 7.
The kidnapping charge we mentioned earlier stemmed from when a girl disappeared from Milwaukee more than 4 years ago. Her family spoke to a station in Wisconsin earlier this year, and they say they never lost hope for her. Now, this is video from before she was kidnapped, seen walking alone with a big book bag. Her sister warns about the dangers kids face.
Parents need to really go through their kids' phones and their devices, because this is just like should be awakening for people.
And we will give you updates as we learn more about this case.
Well, new at midday, a man out of jail on bond after prosecutors say he solicited sex from an underage girl, back in jail at midday after they say he contacted another underage girl. Franklin County deputies rearrested Jonathan Lowry yesterday, and after they say he violated the terms of his bond by messaging a minor. Now, they say he told the girl about his bond and that he couldn't, in his words, hang out with anybody under 18. He now will face a judge next week to answer for that bond violation.
Cedric, thank you. Salt Lake City police say a registered sex offender is behind bars, accused of inappropriately touching a child during a game of hide and seek. According to court documents, 38-year-old Skylar Ray Pettingill attended a child's birthday party hosted by a family friend. While there, police say he played hide and seek with a group of children. Investigators say Pettingill later admitted he intentionally chose one child to be his partner, then trapped her inside a closet. He was arrested on 1 count of sexual abuse of a child and booked into the Salt Lake County Jail.
A Plano ISD elementary school teacher is behind bars this morning facing a child sex abuse charge.
Now, police say the victim is a student and the alleged abuse happened on campus. Dan Godwin is live outside the Collin County Jail with the details that police want parents to know. Dan.
Well, Brandon, the suspect, 64-year-old Paul Campbell, is being held here at the Collin County Jail in McKinney. No bail has yet been set. Police arrested Campbell yesterday in the parking lot of the Plano ISD administration building. He spent more than 25 years as a district employee. He's now charged with on-campus sexual abuse of one of his students at Brinker Elementary School. Plano police say they were contacted by the parents of an 8-year-old student who had reported the alleged abuse to them. Police say the inappropriate physical contact happened multiple times inside the school. When it started is still unclear. It's also not known if there are additional victims.
There's potential that there is more. They're doing some more interviews, and for other people that, from names that have been provided by the original accuser. So they are doing a follow-up on that, but whether they're victims or not, I don't know.
The charge Campbell faces is a first-degree felony. Plano ISD put out a statement saying the alleged conduct at the center of the case is reprehensible and completely inconsistent with the expectations it holds for all Plano ISD employees. And it says steps are being taken to address Campbell's employment. Live in McKinney, Dan Godwin on Good Day.
All right. In Stanislaus County now, a middle school teacher has been arrested on charges of possessing child sex abuse material. Sheriff's office arrested this man, 61-year-old Kevin Olson, in Patterson after getting a tip. Olson is a teacher at Creekside Middle School, but there is no evidence that any alleged children from that school were involved. KCRA 3 reached out to the school district for more information, including his current status of employment, but we have not gotten a response.
Update in Northwest Florida. Crestview police say a man accused of child sex crimes has been captured after fleeing the area. Investigators issued an arrest warrant last week for 38-year-old Eric Allen Thies. He's charged with 2 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation of a child under 12 and 2 counts of sexual performance of a child. Police say once their investigation wrapped up, Thies left Crestview. His vehicle was spotted in the Jacksonville area using the Flock camera system. With the help of the U.S. Marshal's Office, officers say they found Thies on Friday and arrested him without incident. Last check, he was awaiting extradition to Okaloosa County to face those charges.
Massachusetts State Police say a former teacher has been arrested on child pornography charges. We're told 45-year-old Leon Dyer of Belmont is charged with 2 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. Dyer was a teacher at Belmont Middle School, also previously worked at a camp in Middleborough. The Belmont Public School Superintendent did send out a letter to the school community today, alerting everyone about the arrest. Dyer is expected to be arraigned in Cambridge District Court tomorrow.
A former gymnastics coach who was arrested with the help of the Logan Township authorities has pleaded guilty in federal court to making child pornography and money laundering. Teresa Mitchell, formerly of Florida, was arrested March 19th by federal agents with the help of Logan Township Police. Court documents show that between 2023 and 2025, Mitchell conspired with Christopher Breckeridge to create and sell sexually explicit images of children. Mitchell pleaded guilty last week between the charges for child porn and money laundering. She faces up to as much as 50 years in prison.
This former assistant principal at Pensacola High School sentenced to 14 years in prison this morning for video voyeurism and child pornography charges.
WEAR's Copeland Welch joining us with details of today's sentencing.
Bob Sue, the judge, also designated Sean Roby as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Pensacola police arrested the assistant principal at Pensacola High School in August 2024 on a charge of video voyeurism. In Sean Roby's court hearing, the victim requested Roby's bond be set high.
Your Honor, I'd just like you to know that this has greatly impacted my physical and mental health. I don't feel safe around him.
Weeks later, the case expanded. Roby was booked again on 29 new charges involving video voyeurism and child pornography. He was accused of secretly filming a nude 17-year-old in 2019. Investigators recovered the video on Roby's laptop.
Essentially what this defendant was doing and what people do when they're participating in video voyeurism, they're recording someone without their knowledge, typically while they're dressing or undressing in a place where that individual believes they had a reasonable expectation of privacy.
In addition to 14 years in state prison, Roby will be placed on 3 years of supervised probation when he's released.
When we make those type of decisions, it's made based upon the totality of the circumstances, which would include the evidence, the facts, the law, and victim input. Our office is always going to make sure that we contact and speak with the victims in any case before a resolution is reached. That was done in this case. The victim in this case actually spoke at the sentencing, thanked our office as well as law enforcement for the prosecution in the case as well as the result.
We reached out to Escambia County Public Schools. A spokesperson told us, quote, "We don't have any comment on this subject." In the studio, I'm Copeland Welch, WEAR News.
Former QC Arts interim executive director Benjamin Morris was in court for the first time today. The 33-year-old was arrested Monday for possessing and distributing child sexual abuse material.
Jonas Evans was at the Rock Island County Courthouse for that hearing. Good evening, Jonas.
Hey, guys. Yeah, the courtroom didn't hear from Morris today, but we did get some insight into the seriousness of these charges. Morris is facing 15 counts of possessing child pornography, which is a Class 2 felony. On top of that, he's facing 15 counts of distributing child pornography, which is a much more serious Class X felony. In the hearing today, the judge told Morris he would have to serve those Class X felonies consecutively, which could mean between 90 and 450 years in prison. And remember, John, that's only half of the charges.
All right, Jonas. Of course, we want to ask you about the next steps while you're still here. When is the next time Morris will be in court?
Very soon, actually. He's scheduled to be back in court tomorrow. The state has filed a motion to deny Morris pretrial release. But Morris's attorney asked for a brief delay before his release is considered, saying he needs time to explain all of the charges to his client. The judge agreed, so they'll be back in court to discuss the release, and that's happening at 1:30 tomorrow. Guys?
All right, very good, Jonas. Thank you.
Mark, thank you. New here at 10 o'clock, a former Racine County man faces child sexual assault allegations going back decades. 58-year-old Trevor Stratton faces 4 charges of first-degree sexual assault of a child. According to the criminal complaint, one victim said Stratton assaulted him in 2008 or 2009 when he was 11 years old. Another said he was sexually assaulted and groomed by the defendant from ages 9 to 12 in the late 1980s. Stratton moved out of state in 2010. Racine County Sheriff Christopher Schmaling is asking anyone who might have been victimized by him or has any information for investigators to give him a call.
A man will serve time in prison after distributing child pornography. 28-year-old Joshua Ho pleaded guilty back in April to exchanging photos and videos of child pornography. So the case started in March of last year after police arrested a different man who traveled to Ohio to abuse 2 kids. Police went through Hull's phone and found out that Hull, or rather a phone, and found out that Hull was sending videos of toddlers being sexually abused to that man through a messaging app that's called Telegram. Now, Hull even encouraged the man to make the trip to abuse an infant. Hull will serve over 7 years in prison.
Tonight, Pulaski Town Council has voted on the suspension of fellow councilman Steven Erickson effective immediately. This comes after he was charged with sending and receiving photos and videos of child sexual abuse material. Erickson has until September 1st to resign, or council will vote him off. The mayor says the town will get through this and continue to grow.
As I told you before, we'll just trudge on through this and come out better than we were, I hope, and move forward, because we were not stopping. We will continue to move forward, and Pulaski will continue to grow and become better.
Now, once Erickson officially resigns or is removed by the council, they will begin the search to fill his seat. Erickson had been serving on council since 2024. He was arrested on Thursday.
An Irvington man in jail on child exploitation charges following an investigation into online tips involving a minor in California. Colby Palmer is charged with 7 counts of transmitting obscene material to a minor and 2 counts of electronic solicitation of a child. Investigators say they started reviewing his online activity last month when they got a cyber tip from Instagram and the Sacramento Police Department. The agency says Palmer sent multiple nude and pornographic images of himself to a girl under 15 in Sacramento and solicited explicit images from her.
.org.
Robert Bobby Castillo, who turns 30 today, was booked into the Guadalupe County Adult Detention Center Thursday on a charge of possession or promotion of child pornography. According to the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office, the investigation began after the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children forwarded a cyber tip to local investigators. Detectives with the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit then executed a search warrant at a home in the 1400 block of Barnes Drive in Seguin, where they found 19 files of illegal material. Sheriff Joshua Ray says protecting children from online predators remains a top priority and that anyone who exploits children online will be aggressively investigated and prosecuted. Castillo has since been released. If anyone suspects a child is being exploited online, you are encouraged to report it at cybertipline.org.
A Fountain man is behind bars accused of child sex crimes. On Monday, 45-year-old Jonathan Peoples was arrested. The South Carolina Attorney General says he faces 7 charges connected to the sexual exploitation of a minor. Investigators say Peoples distributed and possessed files containing child sexual abuse material. Authorities say Fountain Police and Homeland Security assisted with that investigation.
Good morning and welcome to NBC 16 Today. I'm Lily Taylor.
And I'm Sophia Takla.
Well, Sophia, we haven't said it yet. Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve. What a treat.
Yeah.
Any fun weekend plans?
It's my husband's birthday. Oh. So we'll do birthday things, dinner, whatever, you know. Luckily, it's going to be nice weather. Spoiler alert, we already heard it from Bree. We get it a little early, so it's going to be nice weather, and it's nice weather leading up to the weekend as well outside.
It is lovely. Let's see, this weekend I'm going to a wedding. It's an outdoor wedding, so hoping for good weather.
Yeah.
But it's up in Portland, so we'll see if it's hotter there than it is here.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that we've gotten a little bit of a cool down this last week. You know, like you said, windows open, AC getting a break, just a little bit easier to manage than sometimes our Oregon summers can be.
Definitely. A little toasty. A little too toasty for comfort.
A little too toasty.
We'll see. Well, is today going to be a little too toasty for comfort? Who knows? I think Brianna Chavez has that answer, and she joins us now with a look at that forecast.
Well, out the door here throughout the morning, we're kind of following suit to where we have been the last couple of days. A little bit of cloud coverage, keeping it mostly clear here throughout the remainder of the valleys. And nonetheless, those early morning temperatures also getting quite a mixed bag, quite a 10-degree difference here across our western valleys, with a strong push right back into low 50s yet again for portions of the coastline. But you travel a little north into Portland or even into Douglas County, and you're already running into 60 degrees. A lot of it is, well, simply just we've managed to clear out a lot of that moisture and the sunnier skies starting to scale back. We mix in the cloud coverage through the overnight hours, holding on tight to that warming trend well into the early mornings. As far as where we're headed throughout the afternoon, well, we keep that cloud coverage around just a little bit longer, capping it off into the low 80s for some areas, but we are keeping an eye on a little bit more of that push for warmer air. A bumpy ride, that is, with that warmer air, and we'll track it out for you coming up in that fall forecast ahead.
All right, thank you, Bree. We now take you to our live shot buddy, who is showing us what traffic is looking like currently this morning. LSB is currently on I-5 northbound, taking a look at a crash. He's seeing just one vehicle so far. Looks like it's near milepost 160. Reported to be a rollover that hit the guardrail. Now, of course, no unknown injuries at this time or number of people that could possibly be in the car. However, our live shot buddy is seeing ODOT on the scene and currently waiting for a tow truck. As we can see from our live look here, not really impacting traffic too much. You always want to move over and slow down as much as you can with those officials on scene. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the situation, let you know if any traffic impacts do start happening as we get later into the morning hour. Thank you, LSB, for that update. We'll talk to you in just a little bit.
And moving now to a crime tracker this morning, a Lane County deputy has been arrested and is facing a number of child sexual abuse charges.
The sheriff's office says Deputy Dylan Ford is accused of attempted and actual sexual exploitation of a minor, enticement of a minor, and receipt of child sexual abuse material involving multiple children. Ford made his first appearance in federal court Wednesday and was ordered held pending further court appearances. LCSO says it was notified of the allegation in June and immediately turned the case over to the FBI and the Lynn County Sheriff's Office. Ford, who has been a deputy for more than 7 years, was arrested Tuesday. The FBI is now asking anyone with information about the case to come forward. Meanwhile, Sheriff Carl Wilkerson responded to the news on Facebook saying, quote, "I am very sad and disgusted by this conduct, but I am committed to protecting our community and to holding all offenders accountable," unquote.
And the Eugene Police Department asking for help in locating a missing 79-year-old man with dementia. Take a look at your screen. This is a photo of Paul Ralph McGill. He was last seen yesterday morning at 8:30 when he left home, traveling to the Jerry's in Springfield. His family says he never arrived. He may have been driving a burgundy 2014 Honda Accord with the license plate 877GLE. He's 5'11", weighs about 205 pounds, and has green eyes. If you have any information on his whereabouts, please call the Eugene Police Department.
And a recall alert for you this morning before you get that breakfast started. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service announcing Maple Leaf Foods recalling over 12,000 pounds of not ready-to-eat smoked bacon imported from Canada. This after officials found out that the product entered the U.S. without going through a required safety inspection. Now, the only stores in our area that are affected are the grocery outlets in Eugene, Springfield, Veneta, Florence, Junction City, North Bend, and Roseburg.
Now turning to wildfire coverage. Additional federal support on the way to help firefighters across the state as federal grants have been approved by FEMA to help address 3 fires in Oregon, including the Akawa Butte fire.
These grants make federal funding available to pay up to 75% of eligible firefighting costs for fires that threaten to become major disasters. They will cover expenses for things like field camps, equipment use, supplies, and mobilization costs. The state made similar requests for the East Evans Creek fire and the Rowe Complex fire. Those requests were denied. The state has 30 days to appeal. Now, this is coming as the costs of wildfires across Oregon are now estimated to be more than $260 million.
That number comes from the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center, which warns that the overall price tag will likely continue to increase. The Oregon Department of Forestry's budget for fires for 2025 through 2027 is roughly $390 million, meaning $130 million per year. And even though the final costs for this year aren't solidified, as it will take a couple of years for agencies to settle on who's responsible for paying what, the Oregon Legislative Fiscal Office says the current budget model is outdated and unsustainable. We talked to ODF, which explained how reimbursement for fighting fires works and how it could impact firefighters.
Well, the difference 10 years ago, the fires weren't quite as expensive, and so it didn't take quite as much cash. We didn't typically run all the way through it, but we do borrow from every other line of business that's at the department. Like if we have a fire and we expend all the dollars we have available for, emergency suppression costs, at least cash on hand, right? We have a goal of paying people within 45 days from the end of their last shift. And that's really important to us because, to your point, we don't want to disrupt these folks' ability to, pay their bills and do all those kind of things. So
ODF says it's imperative that more money be allocated for the 2027 through 29 budget, though it hasn't specified an amount.
It's like balancing a checkbook. I've got $100 in the account and I want to get Netflix, but that takes me $10 over. What are my options? And so that's kind of the process. It's our job to make sure that we inform legislators, that we inform the governor's office about, things that we think could help. And then those tough decisions have to get made from that.
ODF says despite the expected need for more wildfire funds in the coming years, every Oregonian can play a role to help prevention efforts by continuing to pay attention to local fire restrictions, as well as creating defensible space on their property.
We want to hear from you at home. This morning, we're asking, is the state adequately funding wildfire response? Right now, we have 21 voting no and 6 voting yes. If you'd like to participate in the poll, you can scan that QR code that you see on your screen or visit our website, nbc16.com, and click on local. Now turning to the fires themselves, firefighters focusing on strengthening containment lines today as mop-up work for the Akawa Butte fire continues. Crews also knocked down a new fire overnight near Southwest Fly Creek Road before it became a larger threat. Officials say hot and dry weather will keep fire danger elevated, and evacuation levels 1 through 3 remain in effect.
The Roe Creek complex has grown after 3 fires merged into a single blaze. Updated numbers have the complex now at more than 300,000 acres, and containment has increased to 42%. Evacuation notices remain in effect in parts of Wheeler and Wasco counties.
A recalculation on the Hay Creek complex fire has it now at just over 200,000 acres. Total containment is still about 90%. Crews are making progress on parts of the fire, but firefighters remain focused on strengthening fire lines. Officials say level 1, 2, and 3 evacuations remain in place for nearby communities.
More progress is being made on the East Evans Creek fire down in Jackson County. That fire holding at more than 15,000 acres with containment at 78%. All evacuation levels have been canceled for this fire.
And the Castle Fire northeast of Tiller continues to burn in the Umpqua National Forest. The lightning-caused fire now over 1,700 acres with 0% containment. Fire crews are building containment lines, clearing vegetation along roads, and bringing in additional equipment as hot, dry weather and gusty winds continue to keep fire conditions challenging there. Now, there are no evacuation orders or warnings, but parts of the forests, including roads, trails, and the South Umpqua Falls Recreation Area, are now closed for public safety.
A registered sex offender in Long County is behind bars again tonight, facing allegations of reoffending involving a 6-year-old girl. The sheriff's office says they received a complaint Monday and immediately launched an investigation. According to the incident report, the assault happened during a car ride July 26th. The suspect is described as a family friend. The victim is a 6-year-old girl. That led to the arrest of the man you see here, Dalen Nikula. He's now charged with aggravated child molestation and aggravated sodomy. We have more on his history on our website right now.
In DeKalb County, a man is facing child sexual abuse charges following an investigation by several agencies. Charles Heiss Sr., whose photo you see there, is charged with sexually abusing a child. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says the investigation began in June after a report of child sexual abuse at a home near Geraldine. Investigators later got a warrant for Heiss, but he left the state before it could be served. On Friday, authorities arrested him in East Ridge, Tennessee, along with another man accused of renting him a hotel room. Both remain in custody in Tennessee.
A sex trafficker admits to picking up a teen girl at a children's home, then selling her at a St. Louis County casino.
Fox 2's Chris Hayes have been following this case since police first uncovered this person's plot. Really disturbing.
The feds say Mac Mitchell bragged about being a pimp and even rapped about it before getting busted for sex trafficking. He's now admitted he sent an Uber to pick up a 16-year-old girl from Epworth Children's Home and then selling her at River City Casino.
The casino has been credited for spotting the crime and reporting it to St. Louis County Police. The federal government took the case, led by U.S. Attorney Thomas Albus.
We were going to go to trial without the victim testifying. We were going to try to do it with the electronic digital footprint and other witnesses because, again, the act itself was really not in doubt. The issue was, what did Mitchell know, and did he know that he was dealing with the child? Ultimately, we were able to meet that hurdle.
Court documents accuse Mitchell of texting a partner in crime, quote, "got one," before picking up the girl from Epworth. The victim is now credited with courage for working with law enforcement to hold her trafficker accountable.
Especially as a child, and someone that was in foster care at the time. It appears to me that, and is typical in cases like this, that she did not have a lot of people in her corner looking out for her.
Civil attorney Grant Boyd is now suing Epworth on behalf of the victim.
Our review of what Epworth has produced so far indicates that for months prior to February when this happened, that they actively knew and were discussing that they knew that she was being sexually abused and trafficked. And so the fact that they didn't do more to stop it, protect her, it is disgusting.
Epworth did not answer our call, email to its attorney, or our personal visit. Court records indicate Epworth denies Boyd's allegation, answering in a court filing, quote, "Plaintiff's petition for damages fails to state a claim upon which relief may be granted and accordingly should be dismissed."
The court record also mentions Mitchell posted a music video online showing, quote, evidence of defendants' participation in the commercial sex trade, and it lists time codes prosecutors allege showed his planning of the crimes he's now pleaded guilty to.
Those crimes, are they in St. Louis?
Some of them in Memphis. Specifically, the video referred to an area of known prostitution called the Blade.
So St. Louis, Memphis, any other cities?
Several other states. Alabama was one. And in fact, in the court record, it said he was arrested with a handgun he'd allegedly stolen from the Memphis Police Department.
Wow. All right.
And more to come here, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
New at noon, a 19-year-old Marshall man is facing a charge of indecency with a child. According to police, Camarion James Allen was arrested June 2nd following an investigation. He remains in the Harrison County Jail. Police say no additional details will be released to protect the child's privacy. His bond is set at $85,000.
A Long Beach man has been sentenced to 40 years in prison for child exploitation. An undercover operation led by the AG's office led to Robert Wilson Jr. being arrested. Investigators say they found thousands of child sexual abuse images on devices that belonged to the 50-year-old.
Today, a new arrest in the Pawleys Island Community Church case after the pastor allegedly allowed a registered sex offender, Warren Perry, to volunteer on the grounds of the church and around children. ABC 15's Kara Riskus joins us live from our newsroom with the recent events unfolding this week. Kara?
Andrew, there were many new developments this week in the case of the Pawleys Island Community Church and its affiliated Christian Academy. An arrest, a hearing, and a lawsuit.
According to the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office, a fifth arrest was made Wednesday. Michael Anthony Fields is the director of operations at the church and was responsible for the security of the entire campus, as well as the safety of the students of the Pawleys Island Christian Academy. He's charged with unlawfully placing a child at risk or causing a child harm.
The arrest followed a hearing for Perry on Wednesday morning with the South Carolina Department of Probation, Pardon, and Parole Services. I listened in on that and documented everything that was said.
June 10th, he and his parole officer had a home visit where he told her he would be setting up for vacation Bible school for the church, but claimed he would be gone before children arrived.
He also had an office visit just 10 days before the initial complaint was filed, where he denied having any contact with minors.
July 17th, officials conducted a search in Perry's apartment, seizing 6 devices, where they found a slideshow sent by a church member for a memorial service. This included pictures of kids in bathing suits, plus a picture sent of Perry on the preschool playground. Perry denied an attorney and was given a chance to speak. He says in part, quote, "There was never any intent in harming anybody. That is not the person that I am, not excusing it, but giving a little bit of an explanation." The judge found Perry had violated the conditions of the agreement and ordered the case be forwarded to General Sessions.
This all came after many lawsuits filed last week on behalf of families of the church.
It just brings attention and notice, and they will see as more stuff comes out and as we get into discovery and as we take depositions, more information is going to come out, and it's not going to be pretty.
Tuesday, another negligence lawsuit, but the first one listing the South Carolina Department of Probation, Pardon, and Parole as a defendant. The lawsuit alleges the agency failed to properly supervise Perry after his sentencing and failed to enforce conditions meant to keep him away from children. The complaint claims Perry was prohibited from having contact with minors or working within 1,000 feet of them, yet he continued volunteering on a church campus that also housed a school and a child care facility.
At this time, the sheriff's office says they're going to be continuing this investigation through interviews and an examination of forensic digital evidence pulled from the devices of church leaders. Live from the newsroom, I'm Kara Riskus, ABC 15 News.
Kara, thank you. Georgetown County Sheriff's Office officials also say specialized forensic interviews have been conducted by the Children's Recovery Center with students who may or may not have been victims of a criminal act while at PICA. Now, these interviews have not resulted in any findings of criminal sexual conduct to date. Fields will also have a bond hearing that's set now for tomorrow.
The former interim executive director of Quad City Arts has been arrested on 30 felony child pornography charges. 33-year-old Benjamin Morse was arrested late last night in Cove Valley. He's accused of possessing and disseminating child pornography involving children under 13. Quad City Arts confirmed he served as interim executive director between April and June of this year and operations manager before that. Maddie French joins us in studio to show us how he was caught and what law enforcement is still investigating. Good evening, Maddie.
Hey, John. Now, the most urgent thing we learned today, authorities believe some of the pornographic materials were created locally. Rock Island police are still trying to identify local victims, according to the state's attorney. Now, this all started when Rock Island police got a call last month from an organization called Predator Poachers Illinois.
Looking for Benjamin?
Yes. On June 26th, Benjamin Morris was approached while working at Quad City Arts.
I think you kind of probably already know why I'd be here to talk to you, right? Okay.
That's Morris in the red shirt. For the next half hour, he talked about his online activity with who he believed was a 13-year-old boy.
And this one says, hey, I'm younger than what I said, and you said that's even better.
But it wasn't a 13-year-old.
I have several adult decoys that are all over the country.
It was part of Aaron Snidle's work to find people preying on children online. He's run Predator Poachers Illinois for the past year and a half.
Basically, the first sentence was sexual.
In his interaction with the decoy, Snidle says Morris repeatedly asked for inappropriate pictures and videos. It was a short chat,
but there was enough to show that he was highly sexual with minors.
That behavior told Snidle there was possibly child sexual assault material on Morris's devices. So Snidle and his cameraman drove from Marion to Rock Island. Sure enough,
it's all hidden. It's all hidden, okay. And like when you say hidden, like what do you mean by hidden? Like it's not in my gallery, it's like hidden away.
That's when Snidle got Rock Island police involved.
So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and talk to you over there by my squad car.
Morris was detained for questioning, and Snidle handed off his evidence.
Before I leave, they have an SD card which has the entire conversations between the pred and my decoy.
It started an investigation that ultimately led to Morris getting arrested Monday night.
Yeah, we're grateful that they took this seriously, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Now, after Rock Island police got a search warrant for Morris's phone, detectives extracted photos, videos, and text threads showing or discussing child pornography. On March 16th alone, he's accused of sending 15 videos, including children who appeared under 13 years old. As for Morris's time with Quad City Arts, the organization accepted his resignation after the June 26th confrontation. It said in part, at this time, there was no indication that any Quad City Arts programs, participants, students, apprentices, or community members were involved in or affected by the alleged conduct. John.
This morning, 8 men across 3 states are facing charges related to exploiting children online. The suspects are from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Connecticut. They were arrested as part of an investigation led by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office called Operation Guardian Angel. Officials say the operation began in March ahead of the expected tourism influx for the World Cup. It looks for criminals using social media to prey on children. The 8 suspects faced a list of charges, including attempted luring and attempted sexual assault.
Thank you, Jamie. New at 6:30, a former Houston County Sheriff's Office deputy could spend years in federal prison. This after pleading guilty to sexually abusing a young boy and creating child porn. Prosecutors say Skylar Laza, who you see on your screen, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. According to court records, Laza recorded the abuse and shared the video. Under a plea agreement entered today in federal court in Tyler, he faces a sentence of 4 to 6 years in prison, lifetime supervision following his release, and mandatory sex offender registration. Laza was first arrested at a state level in 2025, then charged federally.
In DeKalb County, a man is facing child sexual abuse charges following an investigation by several agencies. Charles Heiss Sr., whose photo you see there, is charged with sexually abusing a child. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says the investigation began in June after a report of child sexual abuse at a home near Geraldine. Investigators later got a warrant for Heiss, but he left the state before it could be served. On Friday, authorities arrested him in East Ridge, Tennessee, along with another man accused of renting him a hotel room. Both remain in custody in Tennessee.
All right, guys, we're standing in front of Phoenix Tusliff's house, who invited over a 13-year-old decoy. Talked about doing some pretty inappropriate things with her, sent pictures of his you-know-what, and requested photos. Said he's received photos from younger girls with their faces not showing. I wonder what that is. Unfortunately, he didn't want to talk to us nor police, so they're going to lawyer up. Guys, if you know who Phoenix is, I got his picture posted right here. Share this out in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area. Let's make sure everybody knows who he is, and we'll see you guys on the next catch. Join up on Locals, $5 a month, and also join up on our Kick, where this is live streamed right now, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
First at 10, a Portland man is under arrest accused of repeated child sex abuse nearly 5 years after the first reports. And tonight, police say there could be more victims out there. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anthony Costura, and this is the 10. Portland police arrested 61-year-old Daniel R. Eggleston earlier this week. Investigators say he once volunteered in a church child care program. Our Ariel Yacobazi joins us live tonight in the newsroom. Ariel, just how many victims have come forward so far?
Anthony, 3 victims have come forward to Portland police, and they do believe there could be even more out there. A warning that the details you're about to hear in this case are deeply disturbing. So this all started about 5 years ago in July of 2021 when a woman came forward claiming Eggleston had sexually abused her a number of times between the ages of 3 and 12. During the course of their investigation, 2 other women have also come forward. The United States Marshals Service arrested Eggleston in Gresham on Wednesday. He's now booked in the Multnomah County Jail on 10 counts of sex abuse, rape, sodomy, and several other charges. While Eggleston is behind bars, we wanted to know why it took so long to make an arrest. Sergeant Kevin Allen with Portland Police explains.
We have to work within the system that we have, the criminal justice system. We have to work with the district attorney's office to make sure that we go to grand jury with all the information that we have. So there's a variety of steps that we have to take in order to make sure that we get a good case.
PPB did confirm that Eggleston was a volunteer in the child care program at the Manna House Church in Northeast Portland for 10 years. Although they also say there are no known victims associated with the church at this point in time. Church leadership told me this evening that their hearts go out to the victims in this case and their families, and they are cooperating with Portland police. That being said, PPB says, again, there could be more victims out there, and they are actively investigating. They say anyone who might know this man or believe they are a victim of him, they should submit a tip to their hotline.
Well, new tonight, a South Carolina man will spend 20 years in prison after traveling more than 700 miles to Toledo to meet who he believed was a 7-year-old girl. Federal officials say 54-year-old Edward Green was communicating online with an undercover agent posing as the child's guardian. Green was arrested when he arrived at the prearranged meeting spot. Investigators say they also found child sexual abuse material on his devices. He will serve a lifetime of supervision after prison and must pay $78,000 in restitution.
We begin the night with some news from Tom Green County. The sheriff's office reports it conducted 3 separate child sexual abuse material investigations this month, leading to 3 separate arrests. First, on July 15th, Noah Ruiz was taken into custody and charged with possession of child pornography. On July 17th, Randy Jimenez was arrested and charged for the same crime. Lastly, and just yesterday, Leondez Tapia was taken into custody on an immigration and customs enforcement hold. Authorities found he was in the country illegally and has prior arrests for illegal re-entry. He was not charged with any crime relating to child sexual abuse material, but investigation remains open and further charges are possible. All 3 operations began with a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Authorities have seized evidence for all 3 cases and obtained complete or partial confessions from each suspect.
U.S. Marshals arrested a sex offender accused of absconding from probation for the last 11 years. Investigators took Tyler Bloom into custody in Las Vegas last week. He was previously convicted of attempted child luring-related charges.
An Urbandale man is in jail after police say he inappropriately touched a child. Jesse Benet is charged with child endangerment and indecent contact with a child. He was taken into custody last week. Court records show what happened back on July 14th. They say the child called 911 after the incident. Court records also show he was, quote, very intoxicated at the time. Benet has pleaded not guilty and is set to be in court on August 12th.
New at noon, a Van Buren man pleads guilty in a sex extortion case and is avoiding prison time for now. Ethan Pettigrew pleaded guilty in Crawford County Circuit Court to sexual extortion and possessing child sexual abuse material. He'll serve 10 years of supervised probation on each charge. And as part of his sentence, Pettigrew must register as a sex offender, complete treatment within a year, and have no contact with the victim or their family. If he violates probation, he could face up to 30 years in prison.
We turn now to a disturbing crime alert. A local photographer is behind bars after investigators allegedly found more than a dozen child sexual abuse videos on his phone.
The suspect had just stepped off a cruise ship when he was arrested, and today he faced a federal judge. Local 10's crime specialist Bridget Matter live now in Miami with the details for us. Bridget.
And his name is Steve Lawson. He appeared before a federal judge this morning, and that judge actually granted him bond, but it's a high one. $900,000. He'll have to stay in federal custody until he fulfills that. According to prosecutors, they found dozens of child porn images on his phone while he was on a cruise.
What's up, guys?
45-year-old Steve Lawson, a well-known South Florida photographer, is accused of possessing more than a dozen child sex abuse videos. Homeland Security investigators say Lawson admitted to paying for videos using cryptocurrency while on board a Norwegian getaway cruise ship. A criminal complaint says Lawson told investigators, quote, he was enticed to do so after he observed female minors in bikinis on the cruise. Prosecutors say they believe he's a danger to the community and has an addiction. Local 10 looked into Lawson and found he's a wedding and family photographer. The Daily Mail wrote an article about him and his family of 9 living in a converted school bus traveling across the U.S. 7 years ago. And that same year, Local 10 interviewed Lawson when his home was flooded with sewage.
Life always reminds me, God's got a plan. Just let's see what God has in store for us.
He appeared in federal court shackled Thursday. Cameras are not allowed inside, but during that hearing, a judge granted him a $900,000 bond. Also appearing in federal court, a man named Michael Simmons, who was on board the same cruise ship last week. He was flagged by Customs and Border Protection for a second inspection as well. That is when investigators say they found child sex abuse material on his phone too. Detectives say he took the videos of his daughter's friends while stationed in Alaska working in the Air Force in 2014. And he admitted to purchasing child porn with a system using encryption to conceal someone's IP address. It's not clear if the two men know one another. And we did reach out to Lawson's lawyer. They sent us a statement saying, in part, we recognize the serious nature of the charges and are committed to working diligently through the legal process to achieve a fair and just resolution of this case. If Lawson bonds out, he cannot have access to any electronics, and he can't work as a photographer either. We're in Miami tonight. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
One for Rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?